afternoon and thanks for joining us right here on Midday, Kentucky. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
How are we?
Hanging in there.
The end of your day, it's just
feeling good.
1 hour.
1
closer.
hour.
I'm feeling good.
Are
It's chilly out there this morning. I just went to get
Well,
some
that's his
coffee.
fault.
It's still cold, but a big difference. It's finally feeling like January, and
It
we're
will
almost
by
to February,
tomorrow with some flurries in the mix too. Maybe some light
Flurries
snow over the
tomorrow?
weekend too. So it's
Did
actually
you
going
just
to
say
be
snow?
Yeah.
Wash your mouth
not
out.
like Utah snow.
No, not
you know,
Utah
Okay.
snow.
Kentucky snow.
Okay, we're going to get straight into this because I think it's a fun topic.
Okay.
But we all know that sugar is terrible for our bodies, right? Well, but experts seem to think that it could work wonders for our hair. Okay, what they're suggesting, everyone, is I want to open this as a topic of conversation that they put a teaspoon of sugar into your shampoo. Then you go and wash your hair. And apparently, it only removes the gunk more efficiently, but nixing dead skin cells allows conditioners to penetrate more efficiently. Thing is, I did this last night.
Okay.
Let me
To
see.
test
And
it
how
out.
did it
To
go?
test it
Feels
out.
good.
I actually had a lot of trouble rinsing it out.
Oh,
It
okay.
felt a bit gunky. Do you know what I
see
mean?
that, yeah.
But look, as you all know, being a hairdresser in the past, I know there are some crazy things that we can do to our hair.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I know it definitely works is pouring a can of beer over your hair. It gives it more fullness and more thickness throughout and a little bit more shine. Katie, you said you talked about
I've done the coconut oil thing before, and it's a similar issue. Like you said,
Yeah.
everyone says to condition with coconut oil, leave it in for a little while. It was so hard to rinse out. I think
It
it took
always
me
is.
days of multiple shampoos to rinse that out. I don't know. I don't know if I would do it again. It was really smooth after.
I like
but-
this one. He's got a great story that you were telling us on
We
camera.
did the oil pulling when it was a teeth whitening fad.
Right.
Now, not to be confused with, brushing your teeth. This is just for
So
a
what did you
whitening
do?
thing. Took a big scoop and started, but the texture was so awful. I mean, I was this close to losing it. That's
Really?
the polite
Well,
way
I
of
think, yes.
putting it.
Well, I think I would give sugar a try.
Well, sugar, look, I will say to you, I know they say that it, gets rid of exfoliating when you put it on the skin and it's great for the skin texture. I think that is true.
Okay.
I just don't think it's a good idea to shove it in your hair.
Okay.
It's a fail, let me
So
tell
a
you,
fail.
everyone.
Fail
It's
or
totally a
fail,
fail.
fail.
And the
Okay.
wasted beer, like
Other
you know,
way,
you
well,
could-
no, that actually works, man. It
Okay.
actually works. Something that came up the other day that we found quite interesting, Katie, you were talking about how to discipline your children and what celebrities are thinking about
Yeah,
that
we
as
were
well.
kind of talking about how kids behave in grocery stores, and I think that it's a hot topic. If
Yeah.
a kid throws a tantrum, do you judge the parents? Is it the kid's fault? So Kristen Bell, the actress, has now come out saying that it doesn't bother her when her kid has a temper tantrum in the grocery store. She says if her child decides to do that, that's on the kid, not her.
How old's her kid? About
young.
2 or 3, I think,
Yeah.
isn't she?
So I guess I'm just wondering, what do you guys think about this? I think when I see that happen in grocery stores, I feel bad for the parents. I don't really judge them, especially if the kid's young. I don't know. They're
Yeah.
kids being kids. I don't fault them.
Especially
what do you guys
at that
think?
age, that's like prime temper tantrum. I mean, I don't have nieces, nephews, or children of my own, but when you do see a kid flopping around in the aisle, I feel bad for the parents, honestly.
That's
do you
sitting on the
think?
fence, people.
What do you mean,
I
sitting on the
think,
fence?
I think
Well, for the older kids,
you're
though,
being-
I do think that I get a little bothered by that. When
Yeah.
there's an older kid allowed
I
to
think-
act out in a store, that bothers me.
That's bad. And let's just take it one step further, is that at what age does it become the parent's responsibility to take control back? So do we think 2 or 3 is okay to throw a tantrum? Or when you see kids that are 8 or 9 or 10,
Get a
throwing
hold of yourself.
Exactly. Do you see what I'm saying? So let's
Yeah.
talk about it being more on the younger side of things, especially when you're even traveling. Like I was
Yeah.
traveling on the weekend, as you know, and there was this little kid was crying down the back of the plane, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I feel for the parents,
Yeah.
but the kid was probably about 8. I probably would have done something about it. I don't know what, but you can't
Well,
throw
we'll
them
ask
off
you
the
in about 8
plane.
years, maybe when you have kids. But I think that happens a lot in restaurants, and I hear it
Yeah.
a lot. And sometimes I think if that was my child after a certain amount of time, I would leave. Not.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
agree.
know, stay.
Listen, tell us on Facebook what
Yeah.
you think is the right age that kids should stop throwing tantrums, and is it up to the parents to actually control that? Speaking about control and parents, I think it's a great topic. Should we go organic or genetically modified
Yep.
when it comes to food?
It's a hot
Oh, yeah, this
topic
is
among
interesting,
many,
new one you
but
found.
nothing grosses me out more than like a brown banana or a brown
Unless you're
soft
making banana bread.
apple. Okay, that's the one
Yeah, I
exception.
got you.
Okay.
But anyways, they came out with a new apple rather that doesn't turn brown.
Yes.
So obviously they modified the genetics of it a little bit, but the U.S. Department of Agriculture just approved the new apple that doesn't turn brown when exposed to air as they do.
Oh, that's okay.
I think it's all right.
Yeah.
So they now approve the trees that will bear the new fruit that will be sold to farmers. So we probably won't see these in stores for a few more years. But they're explaining, of course, genetically modified organisms. They're already with corn, soy, other crops, even salmon. They do it. But most of these, now this one's different because most of these, they'll add a gene to it. It's like to make it better.
Look.
This, they're taking one out. But the question is, what else does that gene do?
I'm fine with it.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know. That doesn't bother me.
Well, look, I always have it. You probably pay more for the apple now,
Yeah.
because
Probably.
they're genetically modifying it. And when you look at all the organic, when you go to places like Whole Foods, okay, you are paying more for organic fruit and vegetable. Is this going to be an organic fruit, I should say, or is it just a genetically modified? And here's the other thing. I always like to see my fruit or vegetables starting to turn, because then I think I have to eat them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just leave them there.
It's true.
I buy organic, but I primarily buy frozen because then I can eat it whenever. So I really don't buy any fresh fruit. I buy all frozen.
Really?
But I think as one person,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
get
eat
you.
it that often.
I get
so
you.
I'll do organic, but I always buy frozen.
Do you have to put like a date stamp on it now? Because you don't know. It could be there for weeks.
Oh, that's
like
true.
the plastic fruit. Like, what are these? Maybe we need to eat them.
They're
There was a
foam- they're
snake
foam
slithering
balls.
on those, so I would
Yeah.
not.
And
That's
they're-
not an apple, in case you needed to know.
It's very
That would be a moldy apple.
Okay, very quickly, I wanted to go on to this next one, which I think it is quite interesting. It may, we're talking about should you keep gifts?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask
past
you. Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys
relationships.
about this. I have a friend that just got married and found a box that her spouse has kept since back in college, about 20 years ago, and there were little mementos from exes at that time. She thought it was funny, but it kind of made me think: is it okay to keep these mementos, and what is okay to keep, and what should you get rid of? Like when I moved, I came across a scrapbook of my college boyfriend. I'm like, I'm not gonna throw it away. So then I still have it, but will my future significant others have an issue with that? And I know a lot of people keep jewelry. That's what they say.
Well,
What do you
let's
guys
look at
think?
this. Things you can keep: homewares, clothing, or jewelry. They're the things.
Yeah, I think you can keep jewelry. They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, not the man. So you can keep the jewelry.
Things they say you shouldn't keep are cards, which was interesting, lingerie, and homemade gifts. Now,
But see, of all of those, I would keep the cards or the homemade gifts because
I
that's the
would
memento.
too.
That's something sweet. And would that bother you if your boyfriend or girlfriend, you found cards from their
hey, listen,
exes? Would that
the
bother
last
you?
partner I broke up with, my housekeeper was home when I got there. She had already packed their bags and they were on their way out as I was walking in.
Okay.
So I didn't
I
deal
don't
with
think I would be
anything.
bothered by seeing mementos.
I mean,
from
if they're
my
mushy love
partner's
letters, I
ex.
think, there's a line there.
Aw.
Okay.
I don't.
That's
like
not nice.
Aw.
Oh, Eric.
Eric.
Okay,
Burn 'em.
so all the gifts that you're
That's it.
giving your
That's it for
past
me.
girlfriends,
Yeah.
did you think that they should give them back to you?
No, it was a gift. I'm sure there's some jewelry floating around somewhere.
Oh, you give jewels?
Jewelry.
Oh my gosh, that's nice.
Eric wants them to remember
Again,
him.
or they just had better taste than I did. I always
So all
got
the girls
what
out
they
there, if you
asked
want some
for.
gorgeous jewelry, this is the guy to date,
And you
obviously.
won't have to give
And
it
that's,
back.
that's when I grab the clicker, deflect, and
When
we go to
cut-
weather.
Okay.